What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing tonight? Welcome to another exciting episode of Talk Inside the Ring, which is provided by Cucumber Reviews. Don't forget to go check out the Patreon, where we have some great rewards, and I'm working on some merch. I have some ideas that will be coming soon. You have my word, guys. We are in the midst of WrestleMania season, and if you all know, I went and I talked about what I think WWE should do if Edge were to become the new Universal Champion or the World Champion. I thought, you know what? Why not? I talk about my top 10 favorite championship belts because we are in the midst of WrestleMania season, so we are going to talk about some gold. So let's get started.
Number 10.
Number 10. Now, I know I'm going to get some hate for this. I know I'm going to get some big hate for this. But number 10, for me, is AEW's very first ever World Heavyweight Championship. Now, before you start throwing rocks at me or going to get some Lucille's and beating my skull in, just hear me out. I freaking love AEW. I am a humongous supporter of AEW. I'm wearing the AEW shirt, for goodness sake. I am so excited for the AEW game. I am such a big fan of AEW. I love the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and it is one of my favorites. But it's not just something that resonates with me, where I love AEW, and shoot, there are some other AEW titles that are going to be on this list. Where this is AEW's first title starting out, it was probably like one of my top contenders, but I wanted to start this list off with one that something recently new, and just something that I love to look at. The AEW Championship. What can we say about the AEW Championship that hasn't been said already? It's big. It has an amazing design to it, with its two plates on the side. Its centerpiece with AEW in big bold letters on it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a title that any champion would love to behold. And we've only had 3 champions. Chris Jericho, Le Champion, the first ever AEW World Champion, to my boy Jon Moxley being the second AEW World Champion, to possibly the discussion of Kenny Omega being one of the best wrestlers in the world today, him being the third AEW World Heavyweight Champion, where AEW's only been around for a certain amount of time. That is why this is so low on this list. I love the title. Let me know what you all think about the fact that AEW's World Championship is number 10.
Number 9.
Number 9. WWE's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I'm not talking about the Intercontinental Championship that was debuted by Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, or the Intercontinental Championship that the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes introduced. No, I'm talking about the Intercontinental Championship that was in the era that John Cena would most likely recommend it to be called, known as the Ruthless Aggression era. Ladies and gentlemen, this Intercontinental Championship brings back so many memories. It is such a classic from the fact that it has a really unique blend of color. From the gold to the light blue, it's shown like the globe in the center, to like the plate itself being a little bit different, not just a circle. But, well, you all know what the title is. You're looking at it. The Intercontinental Championship in this era of wrestling just screams classic. It feels like it's a further evolution of what the original Intercontinental Championship used to look like. You know, the one that Cody Rhodes brought back, just like, without the white strap, when the strap was black. I feel like this title is the evolution of that title. An expansion, growth of the company. We've had so many great Intercontinental Champions, from Shawn Michaels to Triple H to Chris Jericho becoming a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Jeff Hardy is right around there. I honestly do not remember how many times he's held the championship. From Umaga to Santino Marella to Christian to Edge. This Intercontinental Championship, this belt around this time, was a belt that people was just hoping to get their hands on. From people to RVD becoming the Intercontinental Champion. The Intercontinental Championship is definitely a mid-card title, but the way how it was treated back then was not the case. People loved having this belt. Randy Orton, Christian, The Miz, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston, all these people became Intercontinental Championship, and they wore the Intercontinental Championship with pride, and it meant something. I love the way this belt looks. I miss it, but it has been retired, and I feel like it would not honestly work in today's era.
Number 8.
All right, number 8. And I know I'm going to get some hate for this one as well, but WWE's ECW Championship 2007 up until they got rid of it and gave the big silver belt. Now, I know this is not the original ECW Championship. Shoot, here's the original ECW Championship, and here's the one I am talking about. This one, I just felt like it was, yes, it was WWE's spin, and nothing will ever take the place of the original ECW World Heavyweight Championship, Extreme Championship Wrestling. But I actually do not mind on how WWE made this belt look. If you take a look at it, it looks a lot rougher, you know, like with the black being behind the plate instead of just solid gold, from the red being the ECW letters instead of purple. It gives it like this somewhat darker and just rougher and meaner look. And also, like, if you look at the strap, there's barbed wire in the strap, like molded into the strap. This honestly just screams that this belt is mean, and it is meant for people who are not afraid to go to the extreme. Shoot, all the ECW originals have held this title, from Tommy Dreamer to Sabu to Rhino to Rob Van Dam to the Sandman to Raven. But like, people who have held this version of the belt, RVD, The Big Show, CM Punk. Shoot, look forward to my top 10 favorite wrestling matches of all time and wrestling matches with other superstars. Those videos are coming soon, I can promise you that. I just love the way how this looks, and I hated how they retired it when Jack Swagger became ECW champion. Well, no, he didn't retire it, but I hated how he dumped the title inside the trash can. I love the way that this belt looks, and it's something that, it was the first belt I ever wanted to own, and I still don't have it yet. If any of y'all are feeling generous, my birthday's in a couple months. All right, that's it for number 8.
Number 7.
Number 7, WWE's Tag Team Championship belt from the year whenever they brought it in up until they replaced it with the big penny belt in the era that John Cena would define as ruthless aggression. Ladies and gentlemen, I loved the way that this tag team that these belts looked. I freaking loved them. They, plus the ones on SmackDown, were my favorite, but I just like these more. I get like more of a classic, these championships mean business. Like, these are championships that anybody would want to hold to prove that they are the best tag teams in the world. I do not really like the tag team championships on Raw. I guess I don't really mind the ones on SmackDown, but I've just never really cared for the big penny belts, from them being the penny ones to when they gave the brand split back, and now we have the 2 silver ones with the red and the blue strap. I freaking just like when the belts look different, each and every single one. Each individual title representing something different, looking different, a different taste, a different flair. And I feel like these Tag Team Championship belts were the Tag Team Championship belts. Shoot, that's why they're on this list. From great champions, from Paul London and Brian Kendrick, short champions from John Cena and Batista, to Miz and John Morrison. They were tag team champions so many times. I remember when John Cena and Batista had these belts. To freaking, I believe CM Punk and Kofi Kingston were tag team champions with these belts. To Carlito and Primo, to The Miz and John Morrison. These belts have had an illustrious history. Shoot, the Hardys themselves have held these belts. These belts have a long history. I feel like they should bring these back. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments below.
Number 6.
Number 6. WWE's Undisputed Championship, which was held by the likes of Chris Jericho, JBL, John Cena. Hulk Hogan, I believe The Undertaker also had this belt as well. Let me know in the comments below. But I just freaking love this belt from the way that it looks. You've got the globe in the center. You've got the center plate. The center plate looks amazing. You've got like the eagle on the top. This belt just represents what I feel like what a champion would be glad to have in their possession. I really wish I had that one. I love this one. But whenever it comes to a championship belt, and just the drive that they have for that championship title. Whenever I see this belt, I feel like this is something anybody would strive for. That belt would show they are the champion, and them holding that belt represents that. I loved, and who can forget, from Brock Lesnar to the great Eddie Guerrero having one of the best matches ever when he finally became WWE champion, when he won this belt. I feel like if WWE were to bring this championship back, like there are rumors that they're going to bring back the big gold belt, I feel like that this would definitely add some flair and maybe even bring a little bit more drive to the championship itself. I don't mind the logo championship, but I do kind of feel like every single championship belt looks the same, and I kind of wish that they would go back to making every single championship belt looking different and having its own symbol and what each championship belt represents and what it means.
Number 5.
All right, we're at the halfway point. So, number 5, AEW's TNT Championship. What can I say about the TNT Championship? I love the way that this thing looks, where it's got the silver and the yellow and the black and the red strap. This championship, yes, it is a mid-card championship, but it fits with the theme of AEW. The fact of the matter is that this is the brand of TNT itself. This is basically our television championship, even though it's not defended every single day. This championship, it's only had 2 champions so far. It's only had the American Nightmare hold it and Darby Allin as the TNT Championship. I love the way that this thing looks. It signifies this is what TNT stands for. This belt, anyone who holds this is proud to be on AEW and on TNT itself, represents the company. It has a great look. It fits with each wrestler who's ever held it, and only 2, but I do not feel like that this championship would ever look bad on anybody. It has a great design, and it's something that everybody should strive for, to become the TNT champion.
Number 4.
All right, now we're at number 4, NXT's North American Championship. Oh my gosh. I remember when I first seen Triple H debut this championship belt. I fell in love with it from the very moment. I love how the strap, it looks a little bit different. It's not the same. I like how NXT's belts kind of look different from the ones on the main roster. They put like a little bit more design into it, and that color, what can you say about that color? I love the way that it looks. From the red and the gold, the dark red and the gold, mixes together so well. I love the center plate with that globe. It looks amazing. And we've had like so many champions from that of Ricochet. My favorite wrestler in NXT at this moment, Johnny Gargano. And Damian Priest, who has been the North American Championship. I don't know if Tommaso Ciampa has been North American Championship, but I freaking love this championship belt. I just think that this is something that is my favorite thing about NXT is the North American Championship belt. I love the way it looks. I love the way it goes along with NXT. It really fits. It's something that I really think WWE should be proud of. And anybody who's held the belt, especially to my boy Johnny Gargano, I feel like he is definitely proud. And Adam Cole, of all people. Adam Cole and freaking Keith Lee have held this championship belt. This championship belt has been what signifies to getting to the next big step. When Keith Lee was able to not only become North American champion, but he was also to become NXT World Heavyweight Champion. This belt signifies, once you get this belt, it's only not much longer till you become or get a shot at the NXT World Heavyweight Championship.
Number 3.
All right, now we are up to number 3. Top 3. NXT's first ever championship, the one with the big X in the middle. Guys, when I first seen NXT, I didn't really care for it, and back then NXT was kind of like a reality wrestling show where the trainees would have to do like some really ridiculous stuff. To running around the ring with a beer keg, to them having to work on cutting promos about anything. I remember this being like a weird game show, and I didn't like it at first, but I mean, hey, if we didn't have NXT, we wouldn't have the Nexus. We would not have great people like Finn Balor, to Seth Rollins, to Roman Reigns, to Jon Moxley, to Becky Lynch, to Sasha Banks. You get the picture. NXT has hit an amazing milestone in the world of wrestling. NXT is one of the reasons I love wrestling even more than I used to. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you how much I love this freaking title. My favorite match, honestly, one of my favorite matches of all time involving this championship belt. Actually, what got me started in pro wrestling in the first place is Sami Zayn taking on Adrian Neville at NXT TakeOver for the NXT World Heavyweight Championship. Sami Zayn's last chance to become NXT World Heavyweight Champion. I freaking adore this belt. I love the way it looks. It represents that this is next. This is what's coming. This is what is next for the future of NXT. And so many great wrestlers have held it, from Sami Zayn to Adrian Neville to Samoa Joe to Shinsuke Nakamura. Even though they retired it, I freaking adored this belt. I love the way it looks, the thick strap with the big X in the middle to like the little tiny plates on the center. I love the way that this thing looks. It looks like this is something for like a small independent wrestling company that would fit for their very first ever World Heavyweight Championship. And it will not be forgotten.
Number 2.
Number 2, the big gold belt. Now, a lot of you are probably surprised, like, why is this not number 1? This is probably everybody's number 1. There's a reason this is not my number 1, and you'll hear in a minute when we get to number 1. But ladies and gentlemen, what can we say when it comes to the big gold belt? This belt has been everywhere. It has been held so many times. It has been held 16 times by the Nacho Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! To the Icon Sting. To freaking Diamond Dallas Page becoming a three-time, to Goldberg, to Hulk Hogan, to The Undertaker, to Edge, to almost everybody. This belt is a world championship. This belt makes any and everybody a world champion. Whoever has held it, whoever has fought for it, they are a world champion. Whenever I get a look at this belt, I see that is what a world championship looks like. That signifies what it means to be champion. This championship belt has been around for ages, and it signifies wrestling. To me, I just love the way how this looks. The classic, the crown on top, the gold globe, the two wrestlers get one guy getting German suplex. I love it just has one big gold belt, or one big center plate and two side plates. This belt is classic. It's amazing. It holds a very special place in my heart. I have seen many great matches fought over for this belt, from freaking CM Punk and Jeff Hardy, to Edge versus The Undertaker in their multiple matches, to The Undertaker grabbing another World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 23. This championship has done so much for people's careers, and it deserves the respect that it has gained from every single individual who has ever held it or wanted it.
Number 1.
And number 1, can we get a drum roll? TNA's very first ever World Heavyweight Championship belt. For those who know me, you probably wouldn't be surprised about this. That Total Nonstop Action, otherwise known as Impact Wrestling, otherwise known as Global Force Wrestling, now back to Impact Wrestling. When they first started, they were using, it was NWA TNA. They were using the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and Tag Team Championship. They were using the NWA belts to signify their championships. It wasn't until 2007 when Kurt Angle, when he debuted in TNA, he became their very first ever official World Heavyweight Champion. That's how I see it. They finally were able to create their own championship belt, and they gave it to the likes of Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist. He held on to that title, and when you see that title, you just see a World Heavyweight Championship from the individual freaking whatever these things are called in the center, in spaces between the plates, to like the big centerpiece with the eagle with its wings, and like you've seen like the two of its wings like at the top. This is just a perfect balance of what a World Heavyweight Championship looks like, and this title was held by the likes of Kurt Angle, to Samoa Joe being the very first person to ever retain the championship belt in a King of the Mountain match, from Sting becoming a 3-time World Heavyweight Champion, to AJ Styles to becoming a Grand Slam champion, to winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in 2009 at Bound for Glory against Sting, from Jeff Hardy being the very last person to hold on to this World Heavyweight Championship. I freaking adore this championship belt. I love the way it looks. This is something that just holds a special place in my heart because at one point, Impact Wrestling was my favorite wrestling company. I freaking loved all the belts that TNA had, but I loved their World Heavyweight Championship because it signified TNA was here to stay and that they meant business. They weren't just a little independent wrestling company anymore. They actually may have been WWE's, they may have actually been competing with WWE. They were showing WWE some competition. This championship belt meant that they were here to stay and they were not going anywhere and that they were going to be around for a long time, ironically. But guys, that is it. My picks for my favorite wrestling belts. Let me know in the comments below. What are your favorite wrestling belts? Who are your favorite champions? What is your favorite wrestling company from what different era? What belts are what is your favorite wrestling era? I want to know. Don't forget to hit up my Patreon. Don't forget to hit up my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep making these videos for you. I have a drive to keep making wrestling videos. I'm going to be providing you all with more content. I hope that you all are having a good 2021. Stay warm because we're going to have to start staying cool here in a minute because it's going to get hot outside. Have a good night, guys, and I will see you next time.